It's that time of year again, the time where we ask our fellow cord cutters and streamers about their favorites in all sorts of categories, from favorite new streaming device to best streaming platform. It's a little thing we call the Cordy Awards, and to talk about them, I'm going to need a little help. All right, so once again, welcome, Jess.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We just finished our coverage of CES 2022, and it's time to talk about the Cordy Awards. I know you look forward to these as much as I do, and it's a time to see what our readers and viewers and subscribers are all into as far as like streaming device, streaming software, their favorite shows, and all sorts of things.
Yeah, I love this time of year. I love every time that we do surveys of our audience, which we try to do quarterly. But yeah, I think this one's my favorite just because it's a big overview of what everybody's been watching all year and how they've been watching it. So I love seeing the comments that we get on these surveys.
Yeah, and like you said, it is our biggest one of the year, so this video will actually be one of a few where we break down the results from our recent Cordy Awards. And this particular video is going to focus on streaming devices and streaming hardware and streaming software. And to kick that off, we had our category, the best new streaming device of 2021. And we actually had a fair number of new devices come out throughout 2021, both at the very, very high end of streaming device and again at the budget end and all points in between. So like we did last year, we're going to go through our top five, starting with the number 5 position, which was actually Walmart's on-brand Android TV UHD streaming device with 6.1% of the overall vote. And this was a budget device that I think retailed for less than $20 at times. We reviewed its little brother, the FHD Streaming Stick, and this is the larger 4K capable device. And it resonated with a fair number of folks in our audience, especially for its budget pricing. All right, and in 4th place, we have the Roku Express 4K Plus. This is another 4K capable budget device, this time from Roku, and it garnered 20.4% of the vote. And in 3rd place, actually a high-end device this time, it's Apple TV 4K. This is the 2nd generation of Apple TV 4K, and it finally came out early in 2021 after more than a year of us following various rumors about if and when it would actually come out. And when it did come out, it earned 21.6% of our votes, or excuse me, of your votes. And then in 2nd place, we have another Roku entry. This time, it's the Streaming Stick 4K. This is another entry in their travel-friendly streaming stick line, and this one earned 23.6% of the votes. Good enough for 2nd place. And then at the top spot, we have Amazon's Fire TV Stick 4K Max, a mouthful of a device name, but it's a welcome upgrade over the company's previous Fire TV Stick 4K, and it earned 27.1% of the vote, good enough for 1st place in the best new streaming device of 2021. So as we look at those results, Jess, any surprises stick out to you?
So I actually looked at the results from last year just to compare with this year. And in the Cordy Awards for 2020, we saw Roku take 51% of the vote. So not really surprising to see the results this year, but nice to see Fire TV, Apple, and Roku all kind of have votes dispersed a little more evenly this year. That was really fun to see. And I'm with you that Fire TV 4K Max, I think I've changed the name of that one 20 times when I've been saying it during Q&As and just talking with you. So could use some shorter device names in 2022. That would be great. If any of these companies are listening in and need some free advice, that's my advice.
Yeah, we can do with fewer pluses and maxes here. I'm just calling that one the max from here on out, just because, yeah, that's a mouthful.
Other than that, yeah, I'm just really happy to see Apple TV finally released this. I know that you had a draft ready to go on the website.
Any day now,
Ready to
yeah.
post. As soon as they announced it, we saw so many Apple events and we were waiting for this news. So it was great when they finally announced a little upgrade to their streaming device. In the next category, we asked you about the best streaming device brand overall for 2021. So coming in 1st place, we had Roku with 49.3% of the vote, which is crazy. Amazon Fire TV came in 2nd with 19.1%, followed by Apple TV at 16.4%, Chromecast with 7.9%, and NVIDIA with 5.6% of the vote. So Roku really swept this category. It was kind of crazy to see that it got such a high amount of votes when Fire TV won for the best streaming device of the year, the best new streaming device of the year. So, Philip, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I guess, on one hand, surprised at Roku's dominance in this particular category, but on the other hand, not too surprised just because they have a diverse set of devices from the budget end to the $100 Ultra. So they have a lot of those bases covered. Some of these other companies on this list specialize in more affordable stuff or higher end stuff like Apple and NVIDIA. So I guess it makes sense that Roku is kind of blanketing the whole spectrum with a bunch of devices. But I'm glad to see other representatives doing well in this category. I know NVIDIA fans are very vocal about how good the Shield TV is, despite being one of the older devices on the market. It's still incredibly capable and flexible. So I'm glad to see a lot of support for all sorts of platforms on here.
Yeah, it's nice to see the votes spread out. And I'm with you. I think people are really passionate about the brands that they want to support. And I get it. But also, people have to remember that if someone's brand new to cord cutting, a lot of times we do recommend a Roku or a Fire TV because they're so user friendly, so easy to set up. It's so easy to find your apps. So if you hear us talking about those once more, it's not because we're favoring them over some of these other higher end devices. We're just keeping budget in mind and keeping new cord cutters in mind at the same time.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the NVIDIA Shield line is, again, that flexibility and the ability to do things like being a Plex media server and stuff like that. But that may not necessarily appeal to first-time cord cutters. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how like new cord cutters and experienced cord cutters are, supporting different platforms.
Absolutely.
We also asked for your favorite smart TV brands, and so we'll start at the bottom here. No, not the bottom. We'll start at the fifth place with 9.1% of the vote. We have Vizio, and then in fourth place with 14.1% of the vote is Sony, another big TV maker with a long history in 4K and 8K displays. And then kind of a surprise for me, maybe not a surprise, but at third place at 18.1% is TCL, a relatively newer name as far as most people are concerned, as far as major TV makers. But it's got a strong showing in our Cordy Awards at third place. And then the top two, maybe not a surprise to most folks. In second place, 20.8% of the vote goes to LG with its award-winning line of OLEDs and LCD TVs. And then on the top spot is 27.2% going to Samsung, another well-known brand in the TV space. So not too many surprises as far as the names I'm seeing on this list, but good to see TCL and Vizio right up there with some of the more established names like Samsung, LG, and Sony.
I will say I've had a TCL Roku TV for probably 5 years, and I love that thing. So I've talked to a lot of our readers about this. I've had it in my living room forever and just a big fan. I've had no problems with that TV, and it was so affordable. And I think that's what earned TCL the third place spot in this survey, just because they make so many Roku TVs at very affordable price points. So love to see it.
Yeah, TCL is definitely making a name for itself, again, in that affordable, but still plenty capable area of the smart TV market, whereas, the Samsungs and LGs of the world are hyping up, just like we saw at CES 2022, they're hyping up their fanciest OLED and now quantum dot OLED tech that probably won't be as affordable as some of TCL's brands, but,
That's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah, we haven't seen pricing on those QD OLED screens, but I'm not expecting them to be the budget models for Samsung. But yeah, it's an interesting mix of smart TV brands here.
I will say some of those TVs, the like 95-inch TVs, move and spin. They're so much fun to look at. I don't know that I would need one in my house, but I mean, I also wouldn't say no to it. They're pretty cool.
If a 95-incher showed up on my doorstep, I'd find room for it somewhere. I would make the effort, yeah.
I'd move into a bigger house. Let's be
Or that, yeah.
All right. And for our last category, we asked about your favorite streaming software. So we were looking at operating systems, and coming in first place was the Roku OS with 47.2%. Apple TV OS came in at 17.3, followed by Fire TV at 16.4. Google TV came in at 10% of the votes, and Android TV at 9.1%. So once again, Roku taking first place by a long shot on this one. So I'm curious, Philip, what you think. Why did Roku get first place, but also how did Apple beat out Fire TV? Would you agree with that top three?
I think the second and third place are fairly close, but again, Apple fans being Apple fans, they're a pretty vocal group, so I think that counts for some of it. But, as far as Apple TV's success, it's a niche product for the company, but it is a pretty well-performing device. I mean, in our benchmark testing, the Apple TV 4K is by far the fastest streaming device we've tested. And again, streaming device or app loading speed isn't the be-all end-all of what makes a good streaming device, but it is impressive to see. And it doesn't shock me that Apple software has garnered some fans. On the Fire TV side, again, we have Fire TVs everywhere. Fire TV just celebrated, I think it's 150 million devices sold throughout the world, so that's not an insignificant amount. So I'm not shocked that they have a fair number of supporters there too. And then a little lower down the list, Google TV differentiating itself from Android TV. That doesn't shock me either, especially with the popularity of the Chromecast with the Google TV, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. I haven't gotten a chance to really play around too much with Google TV or Android TV to even really tell you the difference between the two. But our readers, again, very passionate. If they are Google TV fans, they are big time Google TV fans. So I'm glad to see that that section of our readers was represented here. And then I'm not surprised to see Roku up at the top of the list with 47.2% of the votes. I would agree with our readers about that being my personal favorite. I feel like Roku is just so simple and easy to use. That main menu is just really user friendly. And then Roku has been doing a ton of updates lately, just making their interface even easier to use, making it even easier to find the content that you're looking for. So for example, today, on the day that we're filming this video, they just added a live TV tab over on that left-hand menu so that you can go there and find your live news, live sports, live content from the Roku channel, and all of your live TV streaming services. So I feel like they're really listening to user feedback and trying to make their interface even better.
Yeah, it's clear Roku obviously has a fair number of fans, judging from 47.2% of our vote. And like we talked about earlier in the video, I think it certainly helps that they've got a product in so many different categories, from the very budget end of the spectrum to higher end stuff. And then you have stuff like, smart TVs like Roku TVs, but also stream bars where they try to integrate a sound bar with a smart TV software inside. So it's not a surprise that Roku's, again, doing well in the streaming software platform category.
Agreed, absolutely. And I need to try out more Google TV and Android TV. I'm making myself a note right now.
Yeah, I'm sure Google TV fans will tell you that you're missing out, but yeah, it's a solid platform, and we'll see how it does the next time we do a reader survey. Maybe it'll jump up from the fourth place up to the higher ranks.
Yeah, look out for our next survey coming in spring 2022.
Looking forward to it. And again, like we said before, this is one of a few videos we're going to put out in January and early February that'll go over the latest from the Cordy Awards. So expect to see a couple more videos where we go over the results and any other parting thoughts for part one of our Cordy Awards recap, Jess?
Just a quick thank you to everyone who voted. It was really great to see so many of you chiming in to let us know what you were watching and what devices you were using. So big thanks to our audience.
Yeah, much appreciated. Obviously, these Cordy Awards can't happen without reader and viewer participation, so we're very appreciative of it, and it helps us learn what we should be covering in the future. So yeah, thanks. And thanks again to Jess for joining us on this video, and we will see her again next week for part two of our Cordy Awards recap.
I'll be here. Can't wait.
Yeah. And so that was part one of our Cordy Awards recap. And again, stay tuned for future videos where we go over more of your favorites in a variety of categories. For now though, if you have any thoughts on the results we discussed in this video, like the best new streaming device of 2021, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Maybe we missed a hidden gem that we should cover in the future. Let us know. And again, don't forget to click those like and subscribe buttons down below. They are both a huge help to our channel, and they help YouTube learn to recommend our content to more and more folks, which helps us grow our audience even further. For now, though, thanks again for watching, and thanks again to Jess for helping us out with recapping the Cordy Awards. My name is Philip Palermo, and we'll see you next week. Take care.